Hey, Phil from Got Memories here. I am just wrapping up a job that has been probably the most frustrating, problematic job I've dealt with in a long time. Okay, but I'm showing here now. A lot of these tapes have not. God, they've been recorded from camcorder tape. They've been then recorded onto VHS tapes, which I'm kind of assuming that they've been kind of like the quote unquote town bicycle with TV recordings, used over and over and over again to record, Johnny Carson show, Young and the Restless, Price is Right, at the home TV VCR, recorded over so many times for a long, long time, years. And then they're like, okay, now let's take all of our camcorder tapes and record it onto the worst, degraded, reused over and over again tape. My dad did the same because these tapes were very expensive back in the day. Some of these tapes are from 1983, so that's 42 years old. And yeah, so then there's problems. And if the VCR hooked the camcorder up, record the VCR has been well used over the years, decades at home, recording TV recordings. Kids been putting their cartoons in there, PB&J sandwiches, magnetic oxide coming off of them, you name it. This is, and then the ensuing problems. So this particular job, I'm just going to highlight, when you do have problem jobs, you've got to redo these tapes multiple times over. Some of them are in EP mode, so they've been recorded on EP, potentially on camcorder tapes, not the best format. Even the camcorder could have had issues, dropped in, shamu, splash seawater all over it. And then they're putting the tape in it and it's all gunked up, whatever. Then they take that gunk and then put it onto a gunky tape. And then in 2025, it arrives with me. And now I've got to unearth all of this stuff. Woo! So yeah, so let me just put you here. I don't know if this is going to be a little bit too far away, but what I'm doing here, just showing you. So each one of these tapes gets a number, try and put them in some sort of sequence, date sequence, based on all of the labelings and stuff. Now, some of these tapes I've done 4 times over. Sam had a stab at everything, and she just gave up. She was like, oh my God, this is a job for you. Like, I have to deal with all the problem stuff, okay? And then I take over. Very rarely is there a unicorn job. 99% of the tape transfers I do myself. Sometimes when they're, I'm absolutely slammed or I'm away, Samantha steps away from doing film and she'll help me out a little bit with the videotapes. But when there's problems, that's when I come in. So the way that I arrange everything, and of course I'm using all Macs here, but I'm going through all these tapes right now and they've all got numbers on them. All the record tabs are removed, obviously, before they come in or before they're even transferred. If you are looking around at companies, make sure you remove the record tabs. Some of these you have to really get in and remove this bit right here with a screwdriver. Some of them have actually got like tabs, so like right here, it's in the save position, record on, off. They're very cryptic, so you just slide them on and off. It'll say record or save or erase, yes, no on them. So make sure they're all in the save because companies are recording over home movies like you wouldn't believe. Just low wage labor force, not skilled, trained, uncaring, etc. Anyway, getting back on track. What I've done with this particular problem job, especially when some of them are in EP mode and all that kind of stuff, I've just set this aside right now. It's very rare that I get to this point where I've got to kind of really give a rap sheet so the customer is hyper aware of everything, because I never want to see these tapes again in the nicest possible way. I want to just get this over, communicated extremely OCD clearly, which is the only way to deal with every single problem job. Good job, bad job, communication is key, especially when there's a lot of problems. So I'm going through here on a Sunday at 5:30 p.m., like with a fine-tooth comb. I've just pulled one tape because I think I can improve upon it. Because I've got a VCR here that I've adjusted to deal with some misalignment issues. That one was number 10, B10. So I'm going through these tapes and I am just kind of like making sure that the best effort has been done. Now, this issue right here, and it disappears, and it comes back, and it's back again. Now, I would say 98.5 5% of transfer companies will be like, yep, that's good. To a professional transfer company, no, that could be improved one. I did actually queue it up to that point and it wasn't showing those things. So I'm going to redo this one. I've redone a couple of 6-hour EP tapes done twice, 3 times over. So that's 18 hours of real time. They're not coming through with audio, put them on there, adjust things, clean things, stop. I mean, you would not believe what has been going through with this. So like Christmas 83, etc. I'm putting in there bad. I'm giving a red dot for like really bad. There's one here where I am like, dude, I'm not even charging for this. I mean, look at this. This is coming from just worn out players, defective players, defective tapes that have been recorded over and over again. And it's just like bad, but you can still see what's going on. And then it cleans up. Eventually it cleans up. And I tried this on multiple VCRs, and it's only 3 minutes.
Okay.
But I've redone that one like 3-4 times. But I'm not even charging for it. It's short. I don't want to have an argument or hassles or anything. I'd rather sleep well at night knowing that I'm not charging for something I cannot, just get my head around. And it's kind of just a pointless tape, it's just some golf swinging, so whatever. This one right here, number 24, customer kind of numbered them all off, and so I've renumbered them. Number 24, yeah. And all tapes have a sticker on it with the customer's order number, 28641, so you identify all these tapes. That's why tapes get mixed up with other customer stuff, because companies are not tagging their tapes correctly, or just hiring staff and they don't care. Anyway, number 24. So I'm going down here. Oh, look, I've labeled it bad, no charge. Oh my God, look. No audio. And then it's just like, look at this. My hunch is there was a problem with the camera, because this is just systemic on a lot of tapes. But the audio's there, and then look.
Rooster only one out.
I'm not even, I mean, there was a problem with the camera, back in the day. You can't even get it.
That's okay, you still saw it. Maybe she pushes down hard enough.
So, anyway, then what I do, there's nothing written on this tape whatsoever. So, I'm just going to put in there, I then assemble it as, let's see, 0 to 4. So I take away the B, that's just kind of like some coding that I give. And 0 to 4, and then I'm doing this one-handed. But, I just put miscellaneous memories. Am I spelling this right? Yeah, M-E, come on, E-M-R-I-N-S, and then bad tape NC. So no charge. Even though I've done that multiple times over, I have a setup fee with every single order. It ranges on the quantities, the condition, everything. So I build a lot of that kind of all this silly redundancy into that. So I'm very fair, and sometimes I just don't want to have the aggravation of people coming back to me and going, oh, no. I've been doing this for 20 odd years, and I just want to go to bed with a clear head, clear conscience, and not charging people for something I'm not happy with, even though it's not my fault. And I've done everything I can multiple times over. I'm just like, whatever, just whatever. It comes back to me with the universe. I'm busy. I stay busy. People trust me with, the only copy of their process memories. And I'm lucky, I'm grateful for what I do. And, I just put it back out there. And what I do in kind, people they go, wait a minute, who does that? And I'm like, me. Because I'm a consumer as well, and I want raving fans as my Google reviews show. Everyone is just like, what? This is great. So I have an opportunity to, do some good and just kind of be cool, So this one is perfect. I'm going through, and I do this with all the tapes. Once I've captured them, I mean, they're all being monitored as they go in. But if there's something I don't catch, when I capture it, I go through the file and I just double check it. I'm looking for like, and I spot check the audio, nice and loud. That's another thing with companies. They're not checking audio whatsoever. 031, is there anything written on that? There's nothing written on it. I mean, that's the beauty. Once it's digital, people watch it, they can edit it, they can actually name it because they can see what's going on. But I just put miscellaneous memories. Oh, balls. I make it neat and tidy as well, correct spelling, capitalization, dates, whenever I see date stamps, I'll put that in there to and from. You're just doing what should be done. Just doing it right, as opposed to just half-assing it and just giving back people a bunch of crap. And all the blank off the end, fuzz, TV recordings, you must edit that out. It takes seconds to do. That fuzz happens at the end. I always check tapes when it's blue screen or fuzz at the end, because sometimes the heads have got clogged and you check a few things to make sure, hey, is there more footage or not? In this case, nope, it wasn't. So that's all good. It's just that last little bit at the end there, which does get a little weird and fuzzy. Oh, come on. Where'd that one go? What number was that? Number 32. Take sometimes with my, my server on the network, which all this goes to, takes a second just to kind of update. But that's basketball. You get to know the kids' names, the same, kids you see. I mean, how many kids they have in the family, get to know the name. It's kind of, so like this one here, I know the name of the kids, usually playing basketball, I put it in there. But anyway, in this case, there we go. So, as it all starts to assemble, like all the titles, everything's like drawn out, correct. And number 10, number 30, this particular customer, they had like 17 VHS and, 12 VHS-Cs or whatever. So they, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way 17 on VHS, and they started over with number 1 on VHS-C. So that's why and then there'd be like 2 2s, 2 1s, 2 10s. So that's why they got like a different number on it, because they do it sequentially, just rather than having like doubling up with numbers. Anyway, so that's number 30. Shit, 30's already done. Oh yeah, I've already looked at this one. So this one was a bit scratchy. Audio wasn't great, but it's still fine. But what I did with this is I called it basketball, like areas are bad, and I've given it a green and a red. So it's like kind of half and half. And then this one here is number 21. 21's already done. Graduation, that's done. That's put down there. And one thing that you see when I'm doing all this is just the organization of keeping everything. So when people give you 32 tapes, they're getting 32 files back. You're getting 32 tapes back, and they're all yours. They're all numbered, counted, put back in order in the box. All the files are checked, rechecked. And people take that for granted. They just assume that everyone's workflows and everything are that. But people will send 32 tapes off to a company. They'll get 31 tapes back. And you go, where's that other tape? And then they'll get 35 files back. And they go, wait a minute. And they're all out of sequence and they're all mislabeled. And then you click on them, you go, that's not my tape. That's not my family. Who are the tape? And then you kind of look through and half of your tapes are someone else's. And then you're like, oh my God. This happens. What I just talked about then happens all the time in this industry. All the time. Because they're hiring at $12 an hour somebody that was just, working a menial job, not really paying attention, they're stoned, they're drunk, whatever the deal is. And they don't care, it's just a job. And you have to be so detail orientated, because this is all priceless, precious family memories. The only tape of parents' weddings or, loved ones that have passed away are just on this. And people assume that someone's guarding this with their life. They're not. And also because it's been in the junk drawer in the garage, just haphazard, the same kind of like ethos of care is just passed on again. Like, let me just hand this over to like anybody. And then that's when people then go, oh my God, they just lost all my stuff. They mixed my stuff up. And now it's drama and you're sick to your stomach because you're like, oh my God, I watched a guy on YouTube and he told me about all this. But the quote he gave me was $1,000. And then the other guy was 700. And I'm like, dude, yeah, I'm saving $300. And now your siblings, your family members are pissed off with you because they were like, wait a minute, you gave your stuff to Legacy Box? What? The reviews are awful. You're like, oh no. Or people throw the tapes out when Legacy Box gives them back untransferred, saying they're too damaged or deteriorated to get a picture off of them. People throw them away and they get no refunds. So people across America are throwing away perfectly good home movies that these companies are telling them that they can't get a picture of. And the reason they can't get a picture off of them is one reason: they put the tapes in players that are gunked up with everyone else's crap. You can't get a picture off of it because the players are defective. Or they've got staff because they're under the gun to transfer 100 tapes a day, let's say. And if they don't get paid or they get in trouble. So if they put a sticker on something, it counts in their quota as one tape. And I know this for a fact because employees reach out to me via text and email, current and former, like they're slaves stuck in a sweatshop, telling me they feel bad. They're like, oh, I can do the job, but I need more time, but I'm under the gun to get these things going and digitize because I'm in trouble if I don't digitize 150 tapes a day. Or if I go to P, they're coming down on me, you know. And it's like, no, you have to take your time with this stuff. So that's number 29. Moral of the story is you absolutely, positively get what you pay for. So this is the, you know, everyone thinks, oh, my tape's, you know, only 45 minutes long. Well, I retransferred that tape 4 times. And then in between that, I'm having to figure out what's going on, diagnose problems. Then I go through, I label everything, I upload everything. I'm, you know, all this labeling, it all takes time. And there's no quick way around it at all. Everyone thinks it's like a zip drive. You just like plug a tape in and it goes bing, and then it's done. No, this is 1976. You know, when this came out, these VHS tapes. So we're talking 1970s technology. You know, I mean, it's all very, very finicky and unreliable. So I'm just going to call it football. Woo! It's got green label. We got one here. This one's got a red sticker on it, which I put just because it's, I mean, you can't really. Let's have a look. Glee's 3rd grade classes, 18. Bad. Oh, God. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah. And the problem with these class videos I see a lot of, and there's like loads of copies were made for like, you know, family members. So this could be like the 27th generational copy. I mean, look. I mean, it's already in EP mode. I can tell that on someone's tape because just it's not that sharp. But, you know, it's watchable. But it's got issues. But anyway, and then I'm going to label it, you know, etc., and carry on. Anyway, that's enough from me. I've got a lot of admin on the back end to do, and then I do a video like this to the customer, just clicking on things and showing them problems and everything, because I don't take any money up front, and you should not be paying a dime up front to a company before they've shown you the proof of what they've done, explained everything in detail, because too many people are, you know, they're shelling out, especially through Legacy Box, South Tree Codec Digitizing. They charge up front. I will caveat that, because now I've seen their ads and they're saying 0 down. Okay, there's trouble in paradise. People are getting the message, hopefully through me, other people. Anyway, my assumption is with that 0 down is they're just getting people to get their stuff in. They count it up, then they send you a bill, and they won't start work. This is what iMemories does as well, is they get it all in, they send you a bill, and then you've got to pay it before they start doing the work. So my assumption is here, again, I've been doing this for 20 odd years, is that you're gonna not pay anything, so they're just getting you to get your stuff in based on paying $0 up front. Once they get it, they're gonna count up 40 videotapes, and then they're gonna be charging X amount of dollars, and you've got to pay. Then they'll get to work in about 6 months. Then you get your stuff back, and it looks like crap, or they haven't transferred anything, and then you don't get a refund on stuff they can't transfer. So this is or they've transferred poorly. And I'm not, I'm purely speculating here, but I have people that send me redo jobs galore. They've already paid, or they got the box in, and then they check reviews, and they're like, whoa, Google reviews, what the hell? It's terrible. Then they go on YouTube and they find me, and then I'm, ditto in the same story again, and then people are like, oh my God. Woo. Remember, you got one copy of this stuff. You're sending the masters. I don't know anybody that's got copies. And before you hand them over to anybody, as I say over and over again, you have to remove the record tabs to ensure that some muppet cannot just hit the record button and record over your home movies with a sleight of a fat finger. So you've got, like here, let's have a look. Some of these have got, where it's actually spelled out on the side of the tape. And like, you got this. Let's see, these are easy to move over. So like these are slid over, but you can see like record off or on. So it's in the off position, so it cannot be recorded over. But if it's in the on position, somebody can record over it. And once these tapes are recorded over, you cannot get anything back off them. It is done. I get about 2 calls a week with people that say either they've recorded over themselves by accident, or they've handed it to a company and they said, all your tapes are blank. It's got snow on them. And they're like, no. It says on there, birth of my kids, da, 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 da. And they're like, no, sorry, they're all blank. Or they've just gone bad. And then I get them in. I'm like, no, they've recorded over them. So, small thing. Because companies are not, I would say 99% of tapes I get in do not have the record tabs removed. And they've got to be, like this has just come in. So you go through, like this tab right here, these plastic pieces, you have to get like a screwdriver, or you can get your finger in there, and then you remove it, that little piece right there. Camcorder tapes, video 8, etc. You got the slide tab. So look, they're all kind of cryptically, like, it'll say erase on, off, or save, yes or no. It's very cryptic, so really take a moment to so that's it. Anyway, all the best. Oh, and if you would like to get a quote from me, gotmemories.com, there's a lot of questions. Anyone that's not asking a lot of questions is a red flag. Anyone that's not asking for a photo, clear overhead picture of all your tapes, like this. Boom. Snap out of the cases, checking for mold, checking for dust, just generalized things. I can tell if someone's told me they've kept their stuff in climate control conditions perfectly. These tapes tell me the story. Look, dust, but that kind of browning color is from heat. And that's what's happened to the adhesive and the stickers over the decades. And I'm like, they're not telling me the truth. So priced accordingly. Because then my goal with every single videotape is clear picture and audio from beginning to end, which is getting harder and harder to achieve. And, I'm just polishing turds here. As crude as it sounds, I'm a professional turd polisher. So that is not the norm in this industry. It does take multiple attempts to get some of these tapes to play with clear picture and audio. And it might play fine for 10 minutes. It could be the tape. It could be my player. Magnetic oxide is coming off on these tapes like mad. BSAF tapes, metal evaporative tapes, trash. Done. A lot of them, done. Sorry. All the lubricants, everything's dried out, so the VCRs are squealing, they're kicking them back out. 2025, 20 to 25 years shelf life of these tapes. Don't take my word for it, ask Google and it'll tell you. So anybody that you're handing these tapes over, first of all, custodial responsibility. You got one copy, Are they going to be going out of business? Are they going to be mixing up your tapes with other people's stuff, mixing the files up? You send them 30 tapes, they send you 10 back and go, no, you gave us 10 tapes. You're like, no, where's my stuff? And then, but on the hard drive, you've got 57 files and some other people's stuff. This happens all the time. All right, the download link, it's not your stuff. They've gone out of business. They've gone AWOL. Look up King Tapes in Mesa, Arizona. That was a whole debacle about 10 years ago. Guy just disappeared with hundreds of tapes in a store, and they had to go through the news outlets, through the thing to break in, get the police involved, and then nothing was labeled. It was just strewn everywhere. Then they had people coming in from the Chamber of Commerce, having to sort through people's videotapes and play them, trying to find their stuff and log every single tape. Nightmare. This is why you've got to check maps.google.com for reviews and YouTube for content, where you can see the person that's going to be transferring everything and also the facility, and then just ranting and just generally kind of got a little bit of a pissed off vibe to them, because that's, dealing with all this old stuff is frustrating. You've got to be finding someone that's charging their worth. I don't get out of bed for nothing, right? So if you've been doing your job for 25 years, 30 years, whatever, you charge what you charge because of your experience and you got your shit together. Majority of people in this industry do not have their shit together. They're just trying to hire $10 an hour people and battered VCRs. Parts for these VCRs are impossible to find. Camcorders, you can't go to Best Buy anymore and buy any of this stuff because it's all just 25 to 50 years old or more. So repair people, labor, all VCR repair guys have retired or dead or whatever. So it's just a bottleneck now. So if you got this stuff sitting around, A, it's deteriorating. B, I'm probably going to be out of this business in 5 years. I don't know. I'm already like, I don't need, I don't need much to get by. But so I charge my worth. I'm fair, but don't be expecting bargain basement pricing. My average order is about, 900, almost $1,000 average order. And people go, oh, good. I'm like, yeah, well, you paid like $8,000 in camcorders back in the day. Blank tapes used to be $25 in the 80s for a blank tape in $25, like not adjusted for inflation. So you've really got to, and then I'll get a $2,000 job in, let's say, ton of stuff, 2 lifetimes worth of stuff. And I look at one videotape and it's the wedding. It's a lavish wedding, okay, fine. But I'm like, the videographer charged $2,000 in the day just to make that one VHS tape. So here we are doing a massive collection of everything. So it's what it's worth to you. It is either priceless or worthless. If it's priceless, you give it to the most qualified, trustworthy person you can find. If it's worthless, there's one place for it, the dumpster. If it's worthless, throw it away. Don't even don't spend a dime. Maybe you want to give it to Legacy Box, but you still feel sick if they trash it or they lose it. So you might as well lose it or trash it yourself and just be like, whatever. So just either priceless or throw it away. So go through your videotapes and pick out the best of and trash the rest. I love it when people go, I've got 150 videotapes. I'm like, call me when it's 25. I've got 20,000 slides. I'm like, call me when you've got 250 slides, because it's just all junk. So just do the best stuff. Anyway, that's me. I need some Tums. All right, bye.